Okay, so out of all the superheroes out there to give origin movies to, Wolverine is one of those heroes that did not need an origin movie. But despite that, this movie can't be all bad, can it? Hey guys, welcome to Retro Wednesday, and in prep for the Wolverine coming out Friday, I'm going to review X-Men Origins Wolverine. I won't be reviewing the other X-Men movies because, well, it's too soon, and since the movie coming out only focuses on Wolverine, I think it's best to focus on the other movie that only focuses on Wolverine. So, here we go, X-Men Origins Wolverine. So as a prequel to the X-Men film series, this movie focuses on the most famous mutant of all of them, Logan, or Wolverine, played by Hugh Jackman. It focuses on his early life, the times he was fighting in every major war since the Civil War to Vietnam, and his brief time with the Weapon X program, and how he got his adamantium skeleton. The reason I say that Wolverine is one of those heroes that does not need a movie about his origin story is because Wolverine, I felt, was better when he was all mysterious. Like, you didn't know his background. That's one of the reasons why he's my favorite X-Men character. Not only is this movie unnecessary, but it also seems to do a terrible job at telling the origin story, and in a way that's kind of pathetic for someone like me who didn't know the origin until this movie came out. I'm sure the origin plays out better in the comics, I hope, but in terms of movies, it just didn't work out very well. And if that's not bad enough, the rest of the movie has to be a piece of shit also. Now, if this prequel was filmed before any of the other X-Men movies, I would have been like, oh, it's a dumb movie. I don't really care for it. But it has to follow up 3 other movies. I mean, say what you want about the first 3 X-Men movies. I mean, whether it's good or bad, they all had really good special effects, good acting, fun action scenes, and Hugh Jackman embodied the role of Wolverine in the same way Robert Downey Jr. embodied the role of Tony Stark / Iron Man, or the way Christian Bale embodied the role of Bruce Wayne. And I just had to move this out of the way so you could see my Dark Knight, but whatever. I mean, even for all of the shortcomings of X-Men 3, it still had all those elements despite being a bad movie, and admittedly being the first X-Men movie I ever saw. This movie had boring action scenes, terrible special effects, like you can't believe how fake they are, and Hugh Jackman was, for the first time, bad as Wolverine. And what makes it even worse is that he's producer. He should know by the 4th movie how this character acts, functions. I don't understand how he let this go. The new characters we have in this movie include the Blob and Gambit, which are really pointless, only there for fan service, especially Gambit, and they're only there to move the plot along. They're basically MacGuffins. And then we get to Deadpool, which I'll come back to because I could go on forever about that topic. There are many moments throughout this movie that are just filled with lame moments of stupidity. Like, there's a scene where the guy with incredible sniper powers goes to hunt down Wolverine, and his power is like he can't miss. He's the best sniper out there. He's the best at what he does. Somehow he misses, and Wolverine kills him, and then the bad guys of the movie are like, oh, maybe we should have given him this special adamantium bullet that we made. First of all, why didn't you give them the bullet in the first place? It's like, he wouldn't have been able to kill Wolverine if it weren't for these bullets. You genius! You should have known Wolverine would withstand regular bullets. Why didn't you give him that special bullet? Second of all, how can that bullet even exist if the rules... Okay, put in comic book logic, or at least Marvel comic logic. The thing about adamantium is that once it cools down, it can't be remelted. It stays the way it is. That's why Wolverine's bones can't break. That's why he's indestructible. With the process that bullet is created, how could it even exist given the logics of adamantium, as unrealistic as it is? Third, how could a bullet say the adamantium bullet could exist. Why would a bullet made of the strongest material in the world be used against the strongest material in the world in skeleton form? It doesn't work. It would bounce off, but instead it uses it for amnesia bullets. That's how Wolverine doesn't remember his past. And that's how I wish I would forget this awful piece of shit of a movie. There are other just moments of stupidity that would piss off comic book fans, and even things that you really don't need to explain. Like, how did Wolverine get his name? Oh, it wasn't because he was animalistic or violent. It was because of some bullshit you're gonna forget. Though I probably shouldn't be too mad about that, since, admittedly, forget about it. And now we get to the part that I'm sure pissed off every person and fan who saw this movie. The Merc with the Mouth, Deadpool, played by Ryan Reynolds. I've already ranted about Ryan Reynolds in my R.I.P.D. review, so please go back to that review if you want to hear my take on Ryan Reynolds. But the way they do Deadpool in this movie, if you don't know who Deadpool is, I mean, I kind of don't understand now. He's becoming more popular every day. He's this mercenary, nicknamed the Merc with the Mouth. He talks constantly, he annoys everybody, he breaks the fourth wall at times, he's self-aware, and he is the funniest comic book character ever created. So here in this movie, Ryan Reynolds portrays him as some generic action guy who seems bored out of his mind. He's not hyper, he's not really good in the role, as I mentioned how he is in action movies in my R.I.P.D. review. And on top of all that, Deadpool talks constantly, and he could be a great character to be in a movie. But then he shows up in like the third scene of the movie, and then just disappears until he shows up for the final battle, and what do? They sew his mouth shut. The Merc with the Mouth has no mouth. It's just so... Okay, the reason why I get pissed off is because with these Marvel movies, I'm being a fan as I watch these. When I saw this movie for the first time, I had no idea who Deadpool was. And when I saw this movie, I was like, wow, Deadpool's not really that great of a character. Then I actually gave a chance and started looking up the character. And from what I've learned, Deadpool is awesome. He's absolutely one of my favorite characters in the Marvel Universe, and even in comic books in general. And to rewatch this movie, just see how they screwed him up so bad. It's just... it sucks. And the fact that Fox is still trying to make a Deadpool movie is even worse, and they want to keep Ryan Reynolds for it. I don't want Fox to make a Deadpool movie. I mean, Marvel, please, buy the rights to Deadpool immediately before he gets screwed up again. Make a movie. Make the Deadpool movie rated R. Make it ultra-violent. You know what, with the video game, I don't understand why you need a Deadpool movie anymore. That summed up Deadpool perfectly, but... ugh. Okay, so that's my rant about Deadpool. I'll just move on. So, in the end, this movie is a complete disaster. The acting's bad, it's got terrible dialogue, and if it wasn't for X-Men First Class, I would have given up on this series. This would have been the franchise killer that people would have prayed not to see another one. It is the absolute worst superhero movie I've ever seen, and given the fact that movies like Batman and Robin and Daredevil exist, that's saying a lot. So this movie can just burn in hell. I hate this movie to oblivion. But saying all that, I have hope for the Wolverine. I mean, it's getting fair reviews, more good than bad. I have hope that they've learned their lesson, especially after X-Men First Class. I hope they learned their lesson and can give us the Wolverine movie that we want to see. So that's my review for X-Men Origins Wolverine. Leave a comment if you've seen the movie. Subscribe to my channel for more movie reviews in the future. Check out my other channel, AlexG8462. Tell your friends about me. This has been The Cinemas with Mr. Robinson. And remember, know it before you see it. See you guys on Friday for my review of The Wolverine.